Hello, it's Christine Saxon, and I'm here to talk to you about paddling your own boat. I am going to talk today about paddling your own boat through rough waters, because if I turn this around, you can see it doesn't look like a raging river from here, and it looks quite calm where I am, because I just chose to pull into this little area, a little slough. I'm out here, I was on the Puntledge River, and it's my first time in the river this year. And it got a little rocky, it got a little shaky. So I thought, what a perfect opportunity. I pulled into my favorite slough, and let's talk about paddling your own boat. How do you do with paddling your own boat when the waters get rough? When it gets super uncomfortable? When things are heated? When it's going from misunderstanding or disagreement to conflict? And think about that for a minute. How often do you think about, what stage are we at right now? Often our brain just kicks in instead and goes, uh-oh, this is conflict. In particular for those of us who are, we all have hot buttons, we all get easily triggered. There's actually a assessment that I do, a psychometric assessment called the conflict dynamics profile, and it identifies your hot buttons. And so your hot buttons might be that people are micromanaging you, or it feels like that. Your hot buttons might be that someone seems aggressive, or that things are getting too personal, or whatever it might be. But when our buttons get pushed, or we get triggered, or when we're tired, we react. And I wonder how often you do this. It's conflict. And your brain goes, uh-oh, red alert, right? Red alert, conflict. You're on fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. How often, I wonder, does that happen for you? And if you look back later, would you be able to go, hey, it was actually just a disagreement? Or, hey, it was a misunderstanding or miscommunication? Or, hey, I didn't actually need to hit reply right away, and with my red hot emotion, react. How capably today are you paddling your own boat when there's a misunderstanding, a disagreement, a possibility to go, hey, we see things differently. I wonder where the energy is in this. How can we harness this? But instead our brain takes over. So thanks, brain, for trying to protect me. Now, if you have a core value for harmony, or if you really like when people are getting along and you don't like rocking the boat, you may be even more susceptible to doing this. Or if you easily get triggered and get mad. If you don't feel comfortable within yourself, these are all things we do, right? You might justify and go, whoa, 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 you don't understand me. Here's what I meant. And that can escalate it even more. So conflict happens, right? Misunderstanding happens, disagreement happens. Here's how you can paddle your own boat. There's so many ways. I'm gonna give you a few of them, because it looks like I'm going back into the rough waters out there, because I'm just floating backwards here. So interestingly. So here are some things that you can do. First concept, put space between the stimulus and your response. Put space between the trigger, the reaction, the hot button, the thing that was said, the heightened voices, the someone being defensive. Okay, that happens. Put space between that and your response to it. You can do it overtly. You can say, you know what? I'm recognizing that things are getting heated up a little bit here, and I'm going to suggest that I call you back in 15 minutes. Or, wow, we've got a lot of disagreement going on in the room. I'd like to be able to harness it, and right now I'm feeling like I'm not able to. So let's take a break or table this for our next meeting. There is usually the time and the possibility for you to put space between stimulus and response. I'm going to right now, because I'm getting closer to the river. So I'm going to paddle for a little bit. I'm going to put space between me and the rapids. Now, I'm not paddling as capably as I usually can, because I'm actually paddling my kayak with one hand. And this wasn't planned, but it seems like a great example of this. You might be clumsy as you put space between stimulus and response. It might look something like this. I'm having a lot of emotions right now. I don't feel like I'm going to be able to respond like I want to. I need to excuse myself. That, as uncomfortable, as awkward, as maybe wonky or unfamiliar as it might seem, is actually often better and easier to clean up and come back to than saying, how dare you? Or by getting tight-lipped and thinking that you're fine, and people are saying, how are you? I'm noticing, something's wrong. And you're like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm really fine. And when we say we're fine, we're usually not. There's actually an acronym for it that I'm not going to say right now, but you can look it up on the internet around conflict. FINE stands for something, 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 something. I forget what it is right now, but I think it starts with the F-bomb, so I'm not going to say it. Or maybe actually it might be something like frustrated, irritated, not something. So you can look that one up if you want. I heard it from someone in a class last week. When we say, I'm fine, what I say is, oh, you're not fine, and you think that you're covering, because we do, and it's actually leaking out. Your irritation, your disappointment, your anger, your frustration, your fear, it's leaking out. Oh, I just said something. How are you? I'm fine. Through the smile, you can tell I'm not. I'm gritting my teeth. I'm holding it in. So putting space between stimulus and response allows you to go get fine, to go say, what am I actually feeling? Work through it, and then come back and say, yeah, I was in reaction. And now that I've thought about it, here's what I'd like to talk about. Okay, so put space between stimulus and response. It's a lovely, lovely way to manage through what is going to happen for all of us and help you paddle your boat more. And for those of you who don't like to rock the boat, right? You don't want to say anything, you don't want to speak up. There's a model that I've created for assertiveness. I'm paddling my way here again. That's called CHIRP, and it's a model that helps you to say what you mean what you say, and ask for what you need. So if you're afraid to rock the boat, if you're like, no, this isn't okay, this is crossing my boundaries, I'm uncomfortable, I'm just going to zip it, I'm not going to say anything, you could look into assertiveness. If you think of assertiveness, it's the midpoint between aggressive and passive. So assertiveness is firmly in the middle. And when you're assertive, you don't risk this. You're not rocking the boat, you're actually stabilizing the boat. And it can help with personal power. To say, I have something I need to say, I'm going to say it this way. And then say what you mean what you say, and ask for what you need. Respecting your own boundaries, respecting what's important to you. How is that? I'm going to paddle back out into the somewhat rough waters. I'm not going to rock the boat. I'm going to take a breath. And this little pause has helped me to know that I can keep paddling. And I've got a life jacket, right? Make sure you've got your own personal life jackets. And I've got the skills because I practiced. And I'm going to have fun with it. And you've got lots of tools in your toolkit. Reminding yourself, taking a pause to remind yourself, I've been through conflict before. I haven't thrown a chair. I haven't broken relationships. One conversation is not my only possibility. I can always go back and keep going. Happy paddling.